Hey everybody, it's RJ Salveson here of the Full Court Press. It is time for your Utah State Weekly Football Presser. After a thrilling 37-35 win in Fresno at Bulldog Stadium, the Aggies now turn their attention to Wyoming. So today, you'll hear from head coach Gary Andersen and defensive lineman Jacoby Wildman.
I guess best thing I can say is it's a tremendous win for the kids. You know, they battled like crazy and found a way to win a game, just like they've done in many Mountain West Conference games. It's somebody's had to pick up one side of the ball or the other. Special teams has been a key factor in all of those victories, and that kind of held true in this game. Offense obviously was productive and did a nice job. It was great to see the offense as a whole be able to do what they were able to do to keep us in the football game and give us a chance. And then the special teams, huge play there at the end, obviously. And, you know, Dom, player of the week and all that, well-deserved. The whole crew did a nice job of protecting him in that moment. And never underestimate the snapper and the holder in those situations. That's not an unstressful scenario. So I'm just really, really proud of the kids. It's a great victory against a tough team, a tough opponent. And this league has proven out to be exactly what we kind of thought it was at the first of the year. Everybody's kind of, beating each other up, it seems, as we continue to go through here. And, we got another great team coming in here this week. But, it was a hard-fought battle. Areas to improve, absolutely yes. We'll work hard to be able to get that done, and we'll continue to talk about that as we go through the week. Wyoming, very good team, physical, built exactly how they want to play football, tough, physical-minded group of kids. That's who they want to be on the offensive side of the ball. That's who they want to be on the defensive side of the ball. Disruptive on defense, aggressive on defense, jump up in your face and play physical. And again, they've been built that way for the last few years, and it's obvious that they've had a lot of success on the defensive side of the ball. And offensively, the success that they've had is allowed them to be able to win football games and play their style of football, which is smash mouth, take a chance. We want to run the ball physically at you. When we throw the ball, we're going to throw the ball effectively and do it through a bunch of different personnel groups. And so it's a giant challenge, and we're excited about starting the preparation for them today. And it's a big game, and we talked about it way back when in January, and then we talked about it again in spring ball, and then we talked it again in fall camp. Get yourself to meaningful games in the month of November, and that's exactly what this group of kids has done. And they have battled and battled and battled, and it's fun to watch them grow and develop, and continually watch some young kids step up and take advantage of opportunities as opportunities presented itself. And if they step up and play well, they stay on the field. If they don't, then there's another young kid that is jumping and chomping at the bit to get in there and take their spot, and that's exactly the case will be this week. You'll see a couple new faces in there. Some kids prove ready to play, some kids don't prove ready to play, and you have to be ready to play when you walk into those moments and those situations. And I'm excited to see a couple new faces hop in there this week and see what they can get done. So preparation will start, away we go. Excited about it.
Can you tell us who the new guys you think will get in?
Eric at inside linebacker. He's going to have that opportunity. He had it last game, and it's his show. It's well deserved in that situation. The opportunity, he got in a little bit in the last game, and he needs to take advantage of this opportunity. He's waited for it, and so he'll have that opportunity this week. And Nevis will continue to grow on the special teams. Came in, there's 4 games left, hasn't played. He hops up in there and makes a big play on kickoff right out of the gate. And he'll move into some repetitions there at the inside linebacker also. He's earned that right. And you've got to get your best players in a position and the young men that are ready to play. And so he won't necessarily get in the game unless we lost a couple guys, which we obviously hope that doesn't happen. But Nevis will now be in the position to be able to get off of the scout team preparation team and come over on the offensive side, on the defensive side, and get some reps in that setting. So the young kids are continually stepping up. It's well deserved, and it's fun to see, where they're going and how they're going about it.
Can you, defensively, you had really had a hard time stopping them until those 2 plays. It really was amazing how you guys got it done there. The Bond made the hit on the sideline on the one, and then you got the penetration on the other one really good at the right times. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's just, I'm just proud of those kids making those plays in that moment, right? You go for it on 4th down, and it's either going to be a good decision or a bad decision. There's no either way around it, right? It's going to be one of the two. And obviously we didn't get it, so it was a bad decision on my part. And then those kids had to step up and make a play. And I thought we strung out the fly sweep there in a good spot and allowed Shaq to be able to get physical and make a nice physical tackle and make good decisions on the sidelines, which was great to see. And then Jacoby just made a fantastic play. He split the offensive line in half that we're trying to take advantage of and block him in that situation, and he snapped through there and made a play. And I thought the penetration from the other guys was pretty good. So, players make plays, players win games in those settings, in those situations. And the defense did not play well; they played poor, and we have to get better in that situation. They all know it, we all know it, but they didn't ever lay down or quit or say, "Woe is me." They kept on battling, and their eyes were right, and they kept fighting to make plays, and they had an opportunity to do it, and they did it. So. It's awesome to see when your back's up against the wall and it hasn't gone your way that those kids still fight. And I think it just shows how much they care about each other and they care about the university, and they're going to keep on playing regardless of what happens. And, we've been through that. We've been some ups and downs all year. It's like I say in those conference games, defense found a way to get us through the first 3 wins, and special teams and offense didn't play poorly all the time, but didn't play as well as they wanted to, obviously, which we know, and we can go back and look at all those things. But the crew found a way. When they had to run the ball against Colorado State, we handed the ball off to Gerald 36 times for 170 whatever yards it was, and the defense played well. And Woody grabs the ball out of a guy's hands and scores a touchdown. It's crazy how some of those things have happened in these league games, and this game was no different. The offense was powerful. They moved the ball down the field. They scored when they needed to. Were they perfect? Absolutely not. The defense was, like we've talked about, will need to improve to help us continue to go. But when it had to happen, they did it. Here we sit, 4-1 in league play, and it's awesome to see them keep fighting and battling for themselves and for their school, and it means a lot to me as a coach to see them keep on fighting.
Coach, Everly was named Special Teams Player of the Week for the Mountain West Conference, no surprise, but he hadn't kicked a field goal since Nevada, and then he goes into this game and has to make 3 really big kicks.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about the game-winning one, but the other one was made a 2-score game, the other one cut it to 1. Can you just talk about, your theme has always been next man up or be ready when I call your name. Can you just talk about him being ready after not kicking a field goal for 2 weeks?
Yeah, and go backwards even more. Go back to the San Diego State game. There was 3 or 4 in that game, if I remember. I don't know the exact number, but we were not good on getting in the red zone on offense in that football game. But he kept kicking field goals, and that was a big part of that game. And in this game, in this setting, he's prepared for these moments, and he's trained. And that crew, they're a trio now, and they go out there and they're going to rely on those other guys that are out there protecting them when they go in that situation. But those guys put themselves in that setting a lot of times, and Dom is locked and loaded, and it was the snap and it was the hold and it was there, and that thing was drilled. It was right in the middle of the good hands little thing that sits in the back of the net back there, and it was fun to see it hit that net. I'll tell you that much. So, but he's been through a lot of football games, and he knows how to keep himself in the moment, and it can happen at any time. And he had an opportunity to hit a game winner, and he absolutely drilled it.
Jordan Love looked really sharp, but also the receivers made some big catches, some tough catches sometimes. So it's kind of like what you've been telling us before about Jordan gets the praise or doesn't get the praise, but his receivers really stepped up.
They did. There was some contested balls, and we made some catches, which was great to see. The one that Jordan, there's a lot of hands up in the air right there. His hands found a way to get the ball down, and Siosi's catch in the end zone, he's in again by, an inch, and makes a tremendous play and great concentration. And then there was just a number of those catches that were out there that were, nice plays, and Jordan did a nice job of getting the ball out. And it's great to see Jordan, have that success. It's great to see him slap a helmet sticker on ESPN to wrap up College Game Day for Jordan Love. For all he's been through this year and the battles that he's been through. And, it's like I always say, he's never one time batted an eye. It would be easy for him to, again, go to the woe is me card and, look at himself and look at the guys around him and this and that. Not even a sniff of that. But to see him have a game like that, especially when there's 50, 60 people and his family and friends and in the stands, in that environment, in that setting, it was fun to watch that. So I'm really excited for Jordan. And, He'll have a great challenge in front of himself this week with the great defense, and he'll be excited about that. And I know so the wide receivers will be too. But that's last week, and we've moved on. But again, don't forget that, because it was a special 3.5 hours for Jordan.
The 2 weeks that you didn't play well, the word physical came up.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be ready for that against Wyoming. You could just tell
Yes.
that that's how they want to play the game.
Yep.
Obviously, you have to match that.
There's no doubt. And again, I think you match that in a couple different ways. You match that with being as physical as you obviously can, which is the number one priority. And secondly, if you can use their physicality to their disadvantage in any way, shape, or form, especially as aggressive as they are on the defensive side of the football, then you try to use that against them. I love the way they play defense. I love how physical they are. I love they want to get up in your face and play man coverage. And again, they've built themselves to be that way, which is, I'm all in with it, and I think it's a great way to play in those settings and those situations. But we have to make sure that, again, we take care of the Aggies, and then we have to make sure that we give our kids the best opportunity to be able to be physical and also have smart offense and defensive schemes that allow them to be physical but yet play to their strengths. And I thought we've really done that the last couple weeks on the offensive side of the football. Even if we go back to BYU, we were more effective moving the football. We had turnovers absolutely killed us, and we weren't good in the red zone. That's in the past now, but we can't, again, forget about it. And then I think the staff built on that with the offense as they went into this next week. And, we looked at the matchups, and where we matched up, we looked to be physical and take care of our business and make plays where we had the opportunity. And the same thing will have to take place, this week. And the defensive side of the football will be no different. They are going to walk up there, and they're going to want to smash you in the mouth. And if you fall on the ground, they're going to want to kick you in the face as they walk away from you. That's who they are. And that's awesome. That's a tough-minded team. I like that too, and we have to match that as we go through our preparations. Understand that that's who they want to be. And football's a physical game, and again, I'm all in for that kind of physical activity that goes on in the physicalness, and we need to play that way also.
What about Tyler Vanderwall? Watch him against Boise. He has some moxie. What have you seen out of him?
Good players. I don't see throughout. Tyler, this guy, that guy, there's good players all over the place. If you want to look at the offense, I think the quarterback comes in, he does a good job. He's going to manage the game. He's going to take care of his business and do a good job. The running backs are good. Offensive line's big and physical. Multiple tight ends that come in. Sometimes three of them with another guy that's a fullback type of guy. Then they'll spread it out and have good wide receivers. So they got good players. Who they've beaten and what they've done, and it goes back to the same side on the defense. The linebackers are outstanding. Big, tough, physical, run, smart, have a lot of miles on them. You're not going to trick those kids in any way, shape, or form. So I think that, they're a good football team. They've been built for this year, and I think that they understood that walking into the year. If you listen to them at the beginning of the year, they felt like this was going to be a very good football team for them, and, it's played out that way.
Any word on Tipa? Is he going to be available?
Don't know yet. We'll have to see how it all goes. Hopefully we can get him back. We could use that athleticism and that presence on the defensive front for sure. Anything else?
What was your comment on the Boise State-Wyoming game and watching it? What would you say about that game? I mean, you got your next two opponents.
Yes. Yeah. I've watched the TV copy and I watched the film copy from the game, and just I go back to, I say it again, I love the brand of football they're playing. It's tough, it's physical, it's aggressive on both sides of the ball. I think hopefully I speak right when I say this, but I believe both teams, with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, both teams had one possession. And Boise scored with, I think, 2 minutes left in the first quarter. So, they were getting after each other in a physical type of football game, and it's interesting to sit back and watch it. And but you watch this Wyoming team and the Boise team. They are where they are for a reason. They match up each week against the different types of offenses that they see and the different types of defenses that they see, and they have good personnel. And you watch Wyoming get in that game last week, and it's Boise does a lot of things. They spread it out, as we all know, but they still want to smash you too. I mean, they want to line up and knock your socks off, and again, they want to rub your face in it when they get up and run back to the huddle. And that they're prideful in that, but they'll also spread it out. And I think Wyoming does a very, very nice job of understanding that who they are when they're playing a spread team and who they are when they're playing a tightened down team on the defensive side of the football, and as well on offense, who they are and what they want to go get. And that was a smash mouth physical football game, and the score would obviously lead you to believe that, but that's exactly what it was, and came down to a kick at the end. So
when you look at Valladay as a running back, he just looks like most of the time just power. Does he have the ability and speed to get out much?
Yeah, the scheme it puts them in a spot a little bit to be downhill and physical, depending on the personnel groups that they're in. But do I see the ability to get to the edges of the defense? Yes. And they incorporate the fly sweep. Obviously, we had a hard time with the fly sweep last week, and Fresno's executed that very well all year long. So we'll have to be heads up for that. But I think they have runners that can get to the edges as needed. But again, it's that mindset of, hey, we are a power football team, and we're going to smash in between the tackles and smash in between the tackles, and hopefully keep the chains where they want it to be. 1st and 10, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, and away we go. And some play action passes, but they can still drop back and hit the throws when they need to be able to hit the throws. So I don't want to give the impression it's just some ball control team, but that's their identity. They want to be that team. And I've been around teams that have that identity also, and it's when you have that identity and you can be powerful and run, you do that and fit with your own personality. So it was a good game, both sides, both physical teams, and again, it came down to a kick.
They don't turn the ball over either. So
no. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Very good in the turnover margin. And I would say it looks back to the emphasis on ball control and all those other things that they do. Obviously, it's they do a nice job in those areas of making sure that they protect the football as much as they can, and it's a high importance for them. So hopefully we get 1 or 2 out. Didn't get any last week, so you'd think there'd be one sitting out there for us somewhere, right? It's got to be out there somewhere.
Thank you guys for letting me come and talk to you. Yeah, it was a great game, great team win. Defensively, there's a lot we can improve on. We still left a lot of plays out there, a lot of missed tackles, lots of missed assignments. That was evident this morning as we watched film and recapped the game, but players stepped up, made plays when they needed to, unselfish plays that went unnoticed, and it was a great team win. So,
talk about your play there at the end of the game on the 3rd and short.
Yeah, that was I owe that play to Justice and Devon on the front end. First of all, they set the edge for me. And then Chris Unga came in from the backside with me, kind of dove in, made the guy cut, pull up, and at that point he had already made his jump cut, so he was wide open for a shot from the side. So it was an easy tackle at that point. I just ran through it, so I owe it to those guys. So.
Big was out for the defense to come up with a couple of stops there. You had a couple of stops at the end when there would have been struggles, like you said.
Yeah, there was a couple minutes left in that game, and we were down. It wasn't looking too good, and we had our backs up against the wall. I feel like our defense showed its true colors, and we can play as a unit, and we can make those plays when we need to. We need to moving forward. It was a positive way to end the game, and looking forward, it was a great defensive building moment together. So,
yeah, because let's face it, Jacoby, from some of us outside looking in, it didn't look too promising with the last 2 games where the defense really didn't stop anybody at all, and even a lot of the Fresno game, you guys are having a tough time with that. To be able to hang in there and make 4th quarter plays when you needed to really says something about you guys.
Yeah, Coach A harps on all the time. Players make plays and the players win games. And when it comes down to it, people need to step up and make those unsung hero plays. You just got to do your assignment, and we're a firm believer in that. If you do your assignment, that everything else kind of falls into play. Other people can make plays. It's not one person that stands out, but it's the unit that succeeds and that we see success, all 11 of us, and then that translates over to the offense as well. When you get momentum moving, on one side of the ball, it translates to the other side, and you can really feel that. That's very tangible out on the field. So,
Coach Andersen was talking about how physical Wyoming is, and that they enjoy it, and even Coach likes that physicality. Do you enjoy it as well?
Yeah, it's awesome. I always love playing those guys, and I respect them a lot. It's been a battle the past couple of years playing those guys, and I have a lot of respect for them. It's power football. It's run down your throat. You stop us, and we'll give it to you, but you're going to have to stop us. You're going to have to put your foot down and make those stands when you need to. And that's this week looking forward as a defense. It's going to be that much more crucial for us to do our assignments, to be where we're supposed to be, because if you're not, they'll exploit it. We're really excited to play them, though.
You have to be really good against the run, because they're going to run it. If you'll let them run it, they'll run it the whole game.
Exactly.
They can, right?
Yeah, that was evident last year with that. They hit that QB power, seemed like 20 times in a row. Yeah, and if you give them that, it's kind of like that Air Force mentality, right? You give them that look that they want, and you can't stop it. They're not going to stop running it. So I don't see why they wouldn't. So you need to stop what they do best.
I just noticed something here too. I mentioned to Coach that they went to the ball over 5 times, 2 fumbles, 3 interceptions. That's something you guys need to get a few of those.
Yeah. We need to be focused on that throughout practice this week. It's funny, the things you focus on during practice as a team and as a defensive core, that's what really shows up in games. We focused a lot last week on tackling. I felt like our tackling was better from the prior games. We need to keep dialing in on those specific areas. Turnovers are a big one. Those are big game-changing plays. And I think with turnovers, you can beat any team. So we need to look for those.
Well, through it all, the season we've had, you still have set yourselves up to have the games that still can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
I mean, through even bad stuff or whatever.
Yeah, as hard as it got, the leaders on our team and Coach Andersen, all our coaches, our goals are still out in front of us. As bad as it looked at times, we've won the games we need to, and we put ourselves in position to have everything that we could want. So we just got to keep pushing through, and it's a rough time of year for some players. This team is handling it very well. I feel like we're banding together, and it's going to be a great week of practice for us. We're gonna get to it. So.
All right, that will do it for this week's football press conference. Remember, you can get this and more Aggie audio on 1069thefan.com or on podcast platforms such as Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify. Type in the Full Court Press. You'll see all bonus-related material, and click on whatever you want to hear. The Full Court Press is on from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday with Eric Franson and myself, Ajay Salveson.